That's right, Ewan. It is Block Friday today, and we're keeping it all sports with Garrin Lambley from Sport24 taking us through the sports roundup and what's coming up, what can we expect this weekend. But he's looking rather Maori and All Black-like. What's up with that, man?
I'm supporting the All Blacks this weekend, or the Crusaders, if you like, in the Super 15 final.
We need to organise your Bok rugby jersey. What is this? All right, cool. So, obviously, the Super 15 final coming up this weekend.
Indeed. I wish we were talking about the Stormers being involved, but unfortunately they're not. Last year we had two South African teams in the final. This year we don't have any representation. So instead it's the Reds hosting the Crusaders in Brisbane. Kicks off at 11:40 South African time. Both teams unchanged from last week's semi-finals. Reds looking for their first victory in Super Rugby. Crusaders looking for, unbelievably, their 8th victory.
Gee whiz.
They really have been the dominant team in the 15 years of Super Rugby to date. The bookies have the Crusaders as slight favourites. I tend to agree with them. The big matchup, probably at fly-half, Quade Cooper for the Reds had an unbelievable season against Dan Carter, the All Black fly-half, probably the two best fly-halves in the world.
He's one of those consistent boys. He just keeps on coming
day in, day out, probably the finest rugby player in the world.
So I guess it's fair to say that Cape Town's in with a chance to win the Super 15.
The Cape Crusaders will be very happy, and I'm sure they'll be supporting the Crusaders this weekend.
Awesome stuff. But moving it right along, big story, the Boks. Injuries, resting, what's going on with the precursor of the...
Saru, during the week, they released a press statement saying that following a couple of medical assessments, 21 players have been ruled out of the away leg of the Tri-Nations. Now, the Tri-Nations starts in 2 weeks' time. South Africa play the Wallabies in Sydney, followed by the All Blacks a week later in Wellington. Eyebrows have been raised, a lot of people grumpy about this 21 players ruled out. The fans aren't so happy. They're going to see a B team, if you like, Springbok lineup. Not good for the sponsors either. Historically, in 2007, in the World Cup year then, Jake White did something very similar. He sent a B team over to Australia and New Zealand. They lost both their games, but they did go on to win the World Cup.
Which is true.
So it looks like Peter de Villiers is sort of following the same path. Time will tell. Obviously, it's been an extended Super Rugby season to date. A lot of injuries, calls for squads to be bigger than before to cover for all these injuries. Time will tell if it was a masterstroke to rest these players, if they are genuinely injured. We'll have to see come the World Cup.
But tell me, just from a motivation point of view, from a supporter's point of view, resting those important players for the Tri-Nations to save them for the World Cup, does it make sense in any way?
Personally, to me, it doesn't. I would like to have won the Tri-Nations matches, gain that confidence that you can win in New Zealand, where the World Cup's obviously going to be played. At the moment, it looks like we're going to be underdogs and big-time underdogs in those matches. I don't see how we can beat New Zealand in New Zealand with a second-rate side. They'll go there with this
Maybe we should ship the whole of Cape Town there, and then we have them supporting the Boks, but I'm joking about
that. That wouldn't be the worst option, no.
But tell me, I was going to ask now, Peter de Villiers and Frans Steyn saga, has that been sorted out?
It appears to be. They appear to be friends. Frans Steyn, he's one of these 21 players that is injured and won't be going to New Zealand and Australia now. But they seem to be friends again. He's back in the country. He's promised his future to the Springboks, rather. He's going to play fullback, it looks like. Peter de Villiers, we don't have a great depth at fullback at the moment, so he looks like starting fullback.
And if you were coach, would you have done the same thing?
Probably. He's one of these mercurial players. He can, a drop goal from his own 10-metre line could swing a match on any day. I'd go for Frans Steyn in my starting lineup.
Speaking France, let's talk Tour de France.
Tour de France. First week, a lot of drama. Pre-race favourite Alberto Contador, he was caught up in a crash on the first stage. He lost almost a minute and a half to his main challengers, Cadel Evans and Andy Schleck. Whether he can catch up that time in the mountains, it remains to be seen. It's been pretty flat to date. They head to the mountains this weekend, followed by the high mountains, if you like, the week afterwards. In the green jersey, Mark Cavendish was the favourite pre-race. He's struggled. He's only won one of the stages to date. He's lying in 5th place overall at the moment. He's got a lot of catching up to do. But I expect him to come good as we head sort of to Paris in 2 weeks' time. And
of course, Contador didn't really receive the warmest of welcomes.
No, he's riding under protest, if you like. He failed the dope test at last year's Tour de France. Still hasn't been resolved. His hearing's only after this year. He could be stripped of both titles if he does win this year.
And it's amazing to think that there was a spectator standing on the sidelines, and that caused the crash. And now we have a minute gap.
Unbelievable. I mean, it obviously wasn't Contador's fault, as you said. A spectator sent the whole peloton crashing to the ground. Contador just couldn't fit through. And he lost all the time to his main rivals.
It's like mere seconds and minutes. But talking about that, the British Grand Prix on Sunday, yes?
Yeah, indeed. It's a fantastic couple of weeks for sport in the UK. We just finished Wimbledon. It's the British Grand Prix this week, and next week's Golf British Open. Back to the Grand Prix. It's the home race, if you like, for McLaren's Jenson Button and Lewis Hamilton.
So all eyes on Hamilton, obviously, because he's trying to catch up with...
Correct. He's 77 points behind after 8 races behind Sebastian Vettel, which is unbelievable. Everyone looks like they're racing for second place. Hamilton did come second last year. Vettel actually struggled. He finished 7th.
Yeah.
Red Bull's, his teammate at Red Bull, Mark Webber, actually won the race. So Red Bull do enjoy the track. I expect Vettel to have a better result than last year. But Hamilton will be determined to win in front of his local fans. And
do you think we're entering into the era of Sebastian Vettel as a la Schumacher?
Looks like it. He's a defending champion, already got the 1 title under his belt. He's only 23 years old. He's a German like old Schumacher, who he openly claims is his hero.
Nice.
He's got 15 years his junior, so he's got plenty of years to break his record, if you like.
And of course, we're holding thumbs for the Nice and Oyster Festival.
Absolutely. You know, quick shout out to all those doing the half marathon, the full marathon tomorrow. Should be great fun. Enjoy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lambley. Really appreciate it. We'll organise you a jersey next time, promise about that.
Sure.
But keeping it sports, we've been catching up with Chanel Simmons, who's a promising young South African tennis talent, and she's here to give us some tips on exactly what it takes to be a #1 tennis player.